Thanks everybody for joining. My name is Lindsay Teague. I am the SVP of Advanced TV Solutions with Cadent. We are an independent advertising technology company that focuses around supply aggregation, data enablement, and proof of performance from a measurement standpoint. Alicia and I met last week, and we are thrilled to walk you through our content today. And with that, I'll let Alicia introduce herself, tell us a little bit about your role, your trajectory to the role. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I'm Alicia Criner. I'm the Global Head of Digital and Media for Galderma. We are the only independent pure-play dermatology company. We have 3 different business units. So consumer, some of you know our beloved brand that's now a billion-dollar brand. Cetaphil, I know $1 billion, we're in the club now. We have an aesthetics division as well. So again, I'm not going to spill anyone's secrets here.
But it's all right, I'm a consumer.
There
it's
you
my
go.
Favorite.
You might be familiar with Dysport or Sculptra, so Botox competitor, Restylane as well. And our 3rd business unit is prescription. So we have orals, topicals, injections for eczema, psoriasis, rosacea. So we're really in the dermatology space. A bit about my role. So I'm the global head of digital and media. So I see across all 3 business units, just a few things to work on, and also the media side. We are globally based, in Switzerland, in Zug, right outside of Zurich. Our U.S. headquarters is just up the street in Dallas. I'm in New York, so I'm kind of a double agent, as I like to say. So depends on the day. Some days I'm like, these Americans never make up their minds. Other days it's like, the Swiss, what are they doing over there? So it just depends on the day. And just kind of my background, how I got here. I actually started my first role at Microsoft Advertising under Rick Song. And for those who know, Rick Song is the chairman, I believe, of Brand Innovators. So just, I've always admired him. I kind of clearly have followed him along the way. Back then it was Bing ads and MSN ads. So the industry has evolved as well. Spent some time at Amazon doing product marketing for Kindle. Worked at a startup briefly, and then was at L'Oreal for the past lifetime before that. In French years, it's a little bit kind of like dog years at L'Oreal. So lovely, amazing brands. Came over to Galderma in 2021. And what's so exciting is that, we might not be the most forward. We kind of, balance the beauty side and pharma side, but we get to build it ourselves. And I think just as marketers, you're just on a quick career note, as marketers, I think it's important to have all the above experience. You need that startup grit experience. You do everything. Someone mentioned there's AI ways to write PDP copy. That was me. Yeah. I was the one writing the PDP copy in Salesforce Business Manager and UPC. So you do need to have that baseline of how it works. I also highly recommend a big business company because then you get to see how sustainability works, working with chairmen, how to present at a QBR. Now at Galderma, we're a mid-sized company that's private equity held. That's a whole other off-camera topic I can talk about versus a private company. But, I speak to the board directly. I get emails at 3 o'clock in the morning because the time zone difference from board members asking, what is our response to this? What is our strategy to this? So just really honing your craft and being able to, articulate the journey and really stand your ground and what you know as a marketer is important. So that's kind of a brief background on my career.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. Just a little fun question to kick us off. So obviously there's been a lot of content. What has been besides this, of course, and your panel this morning, what's been your favorite, piece of content or event or meal since you've been here?
Yeah, well, definitely the tacos. I'm a California girl, so I will give, Tex-Mex, love the tacos. 2 really cool, aside from Brand Innovators experiences. There's the Black Future House that's going on. I do not know Austin, so I'm just going to say down the street. Just really, really cool programming about, what does culture mean? How are we defining culture? How are we working with brands but also staying true to ourselves? There are some Black business owners on display, so jewelry, fashion, beauty, of course, is there. So really cool experiences I think everyone should visit. It's not just for Black or African American identifying people. It's for everyone to experience and learn from. The second, I see some of my squad in the audience, the Snap Sanctuary. I have to give a shout out to them. If you can get in, it's like a VIP. We were back to our New York hustling days to try to get into Snap. But it was a really cool experience to see kind of, again, how Snap has evolved from just being, a social channel to really an entertainment platform and how they're really promoting wellness. So the whole Snap Sanctuary. So that's been a kind of a quick preview for me at South by.
That's a good transition. We were talking in our kickoff, like there's been so much cultural shift and impact within the beauty and skincare vertical, even in the last few years alone. And, we were talking about when we were younger and we were talking about acne prone skin, right? And we were talking about how, God forbid, you would walk outside with a zit on your face. And now, you have this sort of social influence that now is promoting, your product specifically and are proud to sort of have this as part of their beauty arsenal. Like, how have these trends sort of impacted your business and how you strategically align either with the influencer community or just your marketing strategy in general?
Yeah, one of the big ones for us is Benzac. That is a OTC over-the-counter acne product for us, based mostly in Europe. I think I said it upstairs earlier. Gen Z will tell you how they feel. They will tell you what they want,
like it.
and they're very transparent. So now the trend, I think, back in our days, it was clean and clear and those kinds of commercials and hide your acne and be very meek about it. They are wearing these pimple patches out like it is a Chanel bag.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like the accessory, the it girl of the moment is the pimple patch.
Yeah.
And so we have Benzac and we have pimple patches. So again, instead of like using your patch to hide your acne, we did a whole campaign about, ish happens and spots happen. So use our Benzac Power Patch. So really kind of, empowering in a sense, but also, people want to show off and have a community around acne. I mean, acne as a whole, I could have a whole talk on just acne as a community. There's childhood acne, adult acne, everything in between, scarring. Some people have scarring for life. It's a whole customer life cycle with acne. But with Benzac, really taking that insight of Gen Z wants transparency. They want to know what's in the ingredients and they want to show it off and just live their life. They're not hiding. They're not covering up. So we got to really work with some influencers and partners for our Benzac Power Patch launch.
That's so interesting. And we talked about just sort of within your role and your vertical, building communities. And you don't necessarily, specifically, I think probably within not your direct-to-consumer products, but the other lines of business that you support, building community and trust. And it's so critically important in the beauty and skincare, sort of forum. How do you approach building trust? Is it through your communication strategy? Is it through your creative strategy? What are different tactics or even ways in which you're building community around your brands?
Yeah, great question. Back to being authentic. We're a product company. As marketers, we love brands. We're a product company.
Sure.
We have our science, have our clinical studies. We can publish it, we can market it all we want, but still consumers are there. There is distrust with brands, all types of brands. So we really look to our community like dermatologists. So we have a strategy for consumer influencers. So, again, the it girls, the beauty girlies, of course, talking about how great the products are. But the dermatologists really bring to life the science. They make it digestible for consumers to really understand. Again, back to acne, it's really caused by bacteria. Most people think that acne is caused by alcohol, or it can be hormonal. Again, there's a whole journey with acne. But hearing it from a dermatologist is very different than hearing it from a brand on an Instagram post. So we try to get those dermatologists to really be advocates for us, not just pay-for-play influencers, but really bringing in the research, doing the ad boards with us, our advisory boards for our products, and then speaking on their own channels about the efficacy and results.
And how do you think customers have responded to that? How do you continue to ensure that your customers are at the center of all of your communication strategies?
Yeah, well, these doctors are famous. These doctors, I mean, they are influencers and celebrities in their own rights right now. So I think it's a balance of making sure we're serving our customer and engaging with them, but also serving our community influencer and doctors as well.
So we are actually, I'm excited. Cetaphil ran a really cool spot in the Super Bowl. So for those of you who haven't seen it, we're actually going to roll clip on it. And then Alicia's going to give us some background and insight to sort of the trials and tribulations, the success and insights of, participating from her category within the big game, if you will. And we'll chat about it afterward. But we're going to roll footage.
Roll clip. It still makes me cry.
I know,
I've seen 50 edits of this, and I still cry when I see it. So thank you guys so much for showing that. So again, it was Cetaphil's first time showing at The Big Game, making sure I'm using the legally
the
approved
proper
language.
language.
The Big Game. And we took an insight. If many of you follow The Dad on Instagram or on different channels, they have this, well, let me take a step back. A certain celebrity who's a musician who has blonde hair, red lips, they got a lot of coverage.
May have heard of her.
Cannot say the name. I got a lot of coverage during the NFL season. And so, people were upset that she's always being shown, and she had kind of a clapback moment and said, sorry, dads, Brads, and Chads, like, I'm here to support my boyfriend. Good luck. The dad actually ran a whole post about dads saying, actually, I'm so glad for insert celebrity name who has been part of this, because now my daughter actually talks to me. My daughter sits next to me. We actually connect over this. And now I know all this insert celebrity name songs. I know the friendship bracelets. I know about this person loving the number 13. And so we saw this insight and we said, there's something there, because skincare is also a way people connect. Again, back to that acne story. There's a way that we connect over skincare and self-care and wellness as well. So that was the insight that got us there. Can I tell you the most stressful part of my career to this point? We concepted, wrote, shot, produced, edited this in 10 days.
I was going to ask because
10 days. In the middle of activating Ad Fashion Week, 10 days. And I say this because as marketers, we spend, 10 years pitching the perfect big game idea. You spend 6 months concepting it. For us, it was this perfect storm of that tweet or post kind of, is it still called tweets? I don't even know, but it's, whatever that post was, came up, I think, end of January. We jumped on it in February. The big game was, I think, February 12th, February 13th. So in 10 days, concepted, wrote, produced, shot that film. We took an earned media route. I think, again, fellow marketers in the room know the budgets don't always respond in 10 days. So we decided to seed it to some of our earned media outlets, and we got 3 billion impressions. Billion. Billies. I hear Gen Z calls it Billies. I'm trying to be cool. I'm learning some cool things this weekend. So 3 billion impressions. I think we had over 200 different media outlet placements. And then we did end up securing some budget to run it in a local Dallas market in the big game.
It's all right. We're safe here.
Safe space. Big game ad. So, of course, with awesome, cool things can also come controversy, right? So there was a content creator online who said, wait a second, this looks familiar. I've been doing these kinds of videos for weeks and for months now. You guys are trying to rip me off. Okay, woo.
Here we go.
Woo. And, we're in a safe space transparently. We used a real dad and daughter, a biracial family, and this person was also a Black woman with a white father, identifying as biracial as well. And, as a Black woman in this type of position, I always say, first and foremost, do no harm. We cannot be the ones doing the harm, first and foremost. And second off, it's Black History Month. Right. We cannot be seen as taking content from anyone. We want to work with influencers and communities. We can't take content from anyone, let alone a Black or biracial person during Black History Month. So we addressed it head on. This is an opportunity. And again, I want to share this story because I'm marketers. We tend to shy away or hope it'll pass. Right. We took it head on and we said, good to know that this insight obviously does resonate. And as we looked further, there was a lot of content out there that was similar. So absolutely, we did not take from this specific influencer. What we did do, and I have to give a shout out to, I think some of my agency partners are here. Our Dentsu team, Lippy family is here, Lippy Taylor family here as well.
Clap.
They were instrumental in helping us through this. What we decided to do is we actually worked with different dads and daughters, sent them jerseys, again, certain number that a certain celebrity likes.
Yes.
Game time glow, and we had this influencer who, at first there was some contention with.
Sure.
Sent her these jerseys and asked us, be a partner of ours. Yeah. Let's partner together. We want to fully acknowledge you created this amazing content. Be our partner. And sure enough, and again, this is all within a 10-day period. I just want to remind you guys.
Like if it can't get stressful enough.
Yeah, literally at Fashion Week, like behind the scenes, with legal and, anyways, so we're here. And then recruited other dads and daughters to be partners for us in our Game Time Glow campaign and continue to take off to 3 billies of impressions. So quite an experience.
I don't know if I can adopt that one, but I'll try.
It's what the cool kids are doing.
I'll try. So sort of moving beyond, how impressive, right? to your point, being a former TV buyer myself, the amount of time it takes to plan and activate, even securing inventory in the big game, like how incredible. So it's very, very awesome. But sort of beyond that sort of traditional linear experience, how are you sort of approaching unique different types of digital strategies, certainly within your role? What are different ways in which you're enabling specific data sets or specific measurement partners that you've really seen success in helping to sort of grow brand awareness and loyalty for your business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, putting Super Bowl, big game, Super Bowl aside.
And will you do it again next year, actually, before we move on?
We're going to get some more data points to confirm. But just side note, we are going to keep Game Time Glow going.
Love it.
There was a lot of good response around Game Time Glow as an activation. So we're looking at, there's some partners in the room. We're talking about college potentially. So again, brand innovators, shout out for the connections in the room. But to your question about just kind of growing that customer experience, we activated at Fashion Week. Quick kind of, top line here. We didn't want to just be another beauty brand at Fashion Week. We wanted to make sense and really earn our right to be there. We took the approach that fabrics can be itchy. Fabrics can be tough on your skin. Cetaphil is really good at restoring that skin barrier. So we actually brought dermatologists to Fashion Week in New York and had them give talks and showcase behind the scenes with the models how preparing your skin can get you runway ready. So that was kind of that first piece. But again, how do we pull it through for the customer? So we partnered with Amazon. We had a whole New York Fashion Week Cetaphil, Face of Cetaphil takeover, shop and shop experience on Amazon. And what we're actually planning to do for a third prong is take some of that really cool content and footage and put it in store. So what you should be seeing in the next couple of weeks in the Walmart or in a CVS is some of that behind the scenes skincare and fabrics going together. So really pulling it through of, one, maximizing content opportunities. But we know our customer is not at the Fashion Week backstage. They may not be on the catwalk, but they want to relate to it and be part of that experience. So we're going to bring it in store for them as well.
Very cool. So talk to us a little bit about, so you've checked the box on the big game, sort of the remainder of 2024, and I feel like the calendars are just moving so quickly, and we're always
daylight savings. Like, what day is it?
I know we always are in this position where we're like future forecasting. So what are some tent poles or initiatives that you're looking forward to executing in the next 12 to 24 to 36 months as we plan out?
Yeah, so, on the Cetaphil side for consumer, we did, again, big game, Fashion Week, really cool cultural moments. We need to get back to our roots. And that's kind of some, insights we also learned of you can't stray too far from your brand purpose and brand premise. So the rest of our activations will be focused on the science. So we're looking at doing kind of a science skin lab. How do we bring the formulations to life with our doctors, our clinical partners as well? Like I mentioned, we have two other business units. So we talked about the prescription acne side. And also for aesthetics. So we released actually a trend book that's called Next in Aesthetics by Galderma. So what is the next thing in aesthetics? What are people looking for? Fast aesthetics, healthy aging. So how do we really keep on top of those trends with the products we're releasing and also the campaigns we're developing?
That's awesome. I think we're almost at time, so 5 more minutes. Does anybody in the audience have any questions for Alicia specifically that you want to ask? On behalf of
legally pre-approved question?
Yeah.
So that's an excellent question. For those who couldn't hear, the question was about being that Galderma is based in Switzerland, but Cetaphil is primarily U.S. We're founded in the U.S. brand. How do I communicate that back to leadership in Europe? So it's great you mentioned that. Skincare is very interesting, and shelf positioning is interesting. So in the U.S., Cetaphil is seen more as, I'm just going to speak freely, more of a mass brand. You can get it at CVS. In some countries, it's really seen as like a high-level dermo-cosmetic. So even the price point is higher. So it's kind of reconciling how all these strategies work together. We want to be seen as premium, not just another drugstore brand. So that's the first step I take with leadership is we're trying to show premiumization. Would a non-premium brand be at Fashion Week? Probably not. That's why we're doing activations that are a little more highbrow. But we have to tie it back to our consumer, hence kind of the Walmart and Target activations as well. But I think, one of my themes for this year, I think we're all going into planning and QBRs and Q1 reviews. My theme is not digital transformation, not all the buzzwords. It's digital commercialization. We have so much cool stuff at Galderma. We have multiple AI tools. We own acne.com. We have this whole aesthetics. We have so many cool things. we're not doing enough with them. So before we go and launch more things, how can I have proof points on the products and portfolio we have and really commercialize them further? So perfect example, at Fashion Week, I had one of the influencers actually use our Cetaphil AI tool, like actually film them scanning their face. So we're going to show that even influencers are trying to help diagnose their skin. Here's the first step before seeing a dermatologist. So not more apps, more AI buzzword. How do we commercialize what we have in our portfolio? Hope that answered your question. Yeah, so the question was, we get the story on TV, social, obviously, other formats. Are we interested? Short answer, yes. Long answer, that's what I'm really trying to explore in my role, because I live across consumer, aesthetics, and prescription. There is a connecting thread, but from a regulatory perspective, like in some countries, we can't even say the drug name. You can't say the word doctor in some countries, all the way to, a friend was on from Jack in the Box, and he was saying, we just let it rip. We just let him go with it and apologize later. Or I think he said, we're trying to get the most cease and desist letters we can. I think that's what he said. So, how do I kind of balance that across our three? That's what I'm exploring right now, transparently. I'm going to try to summarize with my answer. I think you're kind of asking, who are the authoritative voices, right? That's kind of step one. And how are brands responding? I think short answer, it still runs the gamut. We have to coexist together. Mm-hmm. I can have all the doctors in the world talking about it. Some people are going to be like, okay, it's a doctor thing. I can have, I think to still kind of Aaron's thunder, like if Cardi B says it, it's also a little bit different. And also in between. So it really is a kind of full funnel that we call it like a marketing loop, loyalty loop funnel as well. Just a quick shout out to, I don't think they're here, but at CES, I got to connect with Reddit. Mm-hmm. And Reddit, I have to really give them credit. Just, again, safe space. I see them as a platform full of trolls, and actually got to really, I'm just being honest, and got to really connect with them. They really are the original community platform. Right. There is an entire thread out there about dermocosmetics and sensitive skincare that our brand has not touched and we will never touch, because it's a safe, sacred space, and that community will work it out for themselves and be responsible for others. So I hope that kind of answers your question, but we have to coexist across all authoritative spaces.
I think it's interesting too, because generationally, I think it's different. Like, as you were asking that question, I'm like, when I want a new product, I go to Allure, because, that's what I grew up as, that source of truth. And I have a 9-year-old who is buying Cetaphil because she saw it on TikTok, or she's not buying it. She's asking me to buy it. She's going to bankrupt me. So that's an interesting question, and I'm sure as a brand marketer, it's super challenging to balance all of those disparate touch points to what should be the source of truth. Yeah.
And also next year the answer might change again. Yeah. Again, back to college sports, we're still figuring out what to do with the NIL. Like, how much do we endorse? And these are student athletes. Their job is to be a student and athlete, but also why not get some share off of their likeness. So again, next year I want you to ask the same question, because it might change again.
Yeah. Well, Alicia, thank you so much.
I
know we could. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. Thank you, everyone.